We're back! It's October. Time to be spooky. I am the scary Matt Hatfield with the scary looking hairdo. He is the coach with the turtleneck, repping the Yankees, Ed Young. Matt and Ed here. You hear us on High School Sports Talk, 10 a.m. to noon on Saturday mornings, or 10 a.m. to 11, 10 to 11:30. You hear us on Saturdays at 10 a.m.
94.1 ESPN Radio. Him, Hatfield, me, Young.
And you hear us on the 757 at 6. Well, normally me, you heard him on Friday night, but he'll sometimes pop in there. That's weeknight 6 to 7 on ESPN Radio 94.1. Always read VirginiaPreps.com. It's your place for high school football and high school sports news, whether it's basketball, football, you name it. And we're here to talk some football from last night. He wants to gloat. He was down 5 in the Tidewater picks. He chose Bayside. I chose Princess Anne. We won't say by how many I picked PA.
42-6.
Don't say that out loud now. I'm going to get thrown eggs at. Nonetheless, he made up a little bit of ground. He was stunned by Virginia beating Lake Taylor as soundly as they did. Nonetheless, a lot to go over with you from last night. And real quickly, some of the quick Hats Hits takeaways, which you can always read on Twitter at Hatfield Sports. He can't do it because he doesn't have a Twitter. Message him,
Twitter.
DM him, or Facebook him. Tell him, Coach, you got to get a Twitter. You got to get with the world. You got to know what's happening. Real quick Hats Hits reaction. I'm going to go through them 5 real fast. Let's give some love to EC Glass, the Hilltoppers, who showed they are deserving of the top ranking in Class 4 with a convincing 49-15 win over GW Danville. Ooh, Kenny Harris must not have been happy. Every W by 4 touchdowns or more so far. Jeff Woody has a well-rounded team with a Player of the Year candidate at quarterback and Drayshawn Kendrick. Yes, he is kin to Andre Kendrick, who played at Virginia Tech.
Yes.
You saw Jabari Blakely, the Heritage of Lynchburg in Class 3 last year, another Lynchburg school to a state title as the quarterback dual threat. I think EC Glass, who I've got number 1 in the state right now in Class 4, they started out 2 behind Lake Taylor to start the year. Lake Taylor's taken a couple tumbles with Maury and with Verona, did beat Phoebus close. I think EC Glass is the class 4.
I like that. The class is the class.
Wink, wink.
I'll leave it at. I had Lake Taylor at the beginning of the year.
It wasn't too crass, was it?
Well, sometimes you are.
Hey, don't call me that.
If we're going to play on words, you fit that very well, but I can't say that over the air because I'll get bumped off.
You'll be a jack.
But Glass, I'll take number 1 right now. I had Lake Taylor at number 1 earlier, especially after that one against Phoebus.
Who else do you like, though? Who can challenge them? Who's the team? Now that they beat Danville, who was number 9 coming in, they score points a lot. Remember, they lost that close shootout with Dinwiddie to start the year. Dinwiddie's on the outside looking in. Remember, they lost to Petersburg, had a couple early losses. 4 is very deep. But there's some other teams that could do it, even some Northern Virginia teams like Broad Run and Tuscarora, right?
And I don't forget count out Louisa. Louisa knows how to play football over there. So, yeah, Broad Run, Tuscarora, you're talking right out there. Let's go back to the 757. Lake Taylor, though they don't have a 0 under the L, they're still a team to watch. I still like them, but the team with the 0 under the L from the area, Salem?
Yeah, Salem. From out west.
That's
Salem.
the one out west,
Not the Virginia Beach Salem.
Not the Virginia Beach,
They've won. Remember, they won 3 in a row under Steve Magenbauer. They've got a history of championships, new coach in Don Holter. But you know this, it's a lot like Oscar Smith. When you go from a guy that was an assistant with Scott Johnson, taking over for the late great Bill D, and they remained in the factor. Holter's been at Salem. They know what to do, and they got some good skill players, and their offensive line is starting to round to form. They won that game over Blacksburg a week ago. They're going to be hard to beat. That 4D is very good with Glass and Salem. I don't think 4A is as strong. I'm not going to count you out, Hank Sawyer. I know you can dial some things up, but I think the state champ's going to come outside of 4A, Region 4A. I think it's going to come out of the B, C, or watch out for Broad Run and Tuscarora. They played a classic game early in the year. They could have a rematch, and the winner might end up getting to the state championship.
Yeah, but I'm going to still stay with Lake Taylor.
To win the whole thing.
I'll back off from winning the whole thing. Don't want to shock you too much.
Okay.
But watch out for Lake Taylor. Hank Sawyer, I'm still on your side. Not that Matt isn't, but I still think you can do it.
Taking all suggestions, number 2 on the Hats Hits, on who the best team is in Class 2, the Chaos Division this year, as I'm calling it, and why after Richlands beats Radford 45-28. Now, Radford's missing P.J. Prilly, their star running back. He's been out. A couple of the guys have been out. Marshall, I think it's a linebacker with injury. Granted, this Radford team's not at full strength, but Greg Mance, 200-plus wins at Richlands, continues to show he's one of the best coaches in all of Virginia. And you look at Class 2, and not only did they lose, but Union lost the game out of state. They were my number 3 team. Luray fell to Stewart's Draft, who's quietly moved up to number 6. They're unbeaten. Gretna lost a close one to Radford. Ridgeview's got Trenton Atkins, who's run for 8,000 gazillion yards. He's the mega star, the Mac McClung of high school football in Southwest Virginia this year, if you will. Best player can win 2A. I'm starting to lean with Ridgeview. Should I be all in, or do they need to show you more than just Adkins?
You got to show me more than Atkins. I'm still not going to count out Radford. One loss doesn't end their season. And also the Gretna team you mentioned earlier, I kind of like those teams.
Okay, so it's up for grabs there. Number 3 on the Hats hits. Best kept secret in Winchester, those Hanley judges. 5-0 for the first time since 2009 with a 42-7 triumph over Culpeper, averaging 43.2 points per game. The judges have tough tests with Millbrook and Sherando on deck here. And listen, neither one ranked, but Millbrook and Sherando, both programs with history, both with players that have gone to the next level, town on the roster. You've coached before this with basketball, and I want to bring it back to the 757 here with Princess Anne. Program surprises early on. You take a little bit of a bump. How do you get them back on track? Now, Hanley hasn't had a bump yet. They're not ranked. But how do you get them to deal with adversity once it comes when you haven't had it and you've been surprising?
Well, I think the thing you do there is you're doing something good early in the year. You keep reminding your team, hey, stay humble, stay concentrated, stay focused, keep working. Anybody can get us. Think back when we weren't what we are now and we would lose games. We don't want that feeling again. Then, and I'll say this, and a lot of coaches will be like, what is he talking about? You almost hope you lose one game to bring that reality out. Y'all didn't want to listen. Here it is. We got beat by somebody, hopefully somebody really good. And you get their attention back again, and they realize, okay, their feet are touching the ground now. We can be beat. We are vulnerable. Yes, you are. You didn't want to listen when I told you. And, the more you go undefeated, the pressure builds and builds, where you don't want to lose later because now that house can crumble, especially if it's made of straw, because some kids get false sense of reality of how good they are, because sometimes maybe the teams you're playing aren't that strong, but the kids don't look at it that way. We're just undefeated. We're this, we're that. Why are we practicing? We're already good. Well, sometimes the humbleness has to be brought out by an L. And coaching, I have honestly have said that at times. We need an L to myself to bring it back in reality. I just hope that the wheels all don't come off.
You never want an L. And by the way, I don't thin straw house.
I don't want L's, especially over the last few years, getting L's where we didn't have them before. And living in a straw house, it's something to be being blown down.
I leave my straws in my drinks. Number 4, judging from what I saw in their 47-14 thumping of Kellum Bill Stachelski's Cox Falcons, they're for real. Future looks bright. Many of their better players, E.C. Atute,
easy for you to say,
Zaire Lawrence, Corey Hunter, Andre Stevens, Dylan Hauser, George Balance, they're all going to come back next year. Don't think they'll be an easy out. They're not ranked in the state Class 5 top 10 rankings. However, if you're a Maury, if you're a Salem, if you're a Nansemond River, if you're a Woodside, if you're a Deep Creek, an Indian River, whoever you are in 5, you don't want Cox in the first round. Go ask some other teams, Bayside, Ocean Lakes, Oscar Smith a couple years ago. They can knock you out. Do not sleep on them.
Well, when it comes to sleeping, the bed is the best place for me, so I won't be sleeping on them.
You don't like
but
the
I will
couch?
sleep on the bed. I ain't going on the couch.
Okay.
Now, later on when I get married, I might have to head to the couch if I screw
We're
up.
getting married in July.
Yeah, it hasn't been stated on here since the last time we talked.
That's right. Congratulations.
Yeah, this guy bought a ring.
I didn't buy the ring.
This
Wait a
guy,
second.
this guy,
although you put it at
this
me.
way.
I thought that finger was going my
No,
way. I'm
no.
like, I ain't buying a ring.
He ain't got money for a ring, and he's that cheap.
I'm single and ready to mingle.
The only ring he has is around the tub, I think, because I ain't been around there either, but I'm hearing stories. Probably the hair gel.
They don't have any today. Number 5. Finish up here. As folks prep for October 11th, the showdown in the 804 between reigning state champs Highland Springs and Manchester, the 2 longest winning streaks in the state. This game would have been even more epic last year when Manchester had the Notre Dame commit quarterback Brendan Clark. I find myself wondering which was more impressive last night. Hopewell's 44-7 trouncing of Thomas Dale, minus Chris Tyree, who's also going to join Clark at Notre Dame, by the way, the running back, or Verona 56-7 over Lake Taylor. Both mighty big statements. Verona and Hopewell, we got to pay more attention to each. Class 5, Class 3, we got Verona ranked right now probably too low in Class 5 at number 7. And we got Hopewell number 2 in the state, only behind Lord Botetourt in Class 3. 2 of their better guys have been out with injuries, Evan Eller and Hunter Rice. Nonetheless, Highland Springs, Manchester, it's the game of the year for Richmond. You better be there like at 1 in the afternoon for that game.
You're not getting in.
Woo.
By the way, which was a more impressive win, I still think Verona destroying Lake Taylor. Nothing against Hopewell's win over Thomas Dale.
Mike Williams is not going to talk to you now. He's a Hopewell.
Well, I just, I got to tell it like it is.
Ricky Irby's not going to talk to you. He's a Hopewell coach.
I just got to speak like it is. I can't lie.
By the way, Trevion Henderson, if you haven't watched him play, and they have more than just Henderson, but man, he is something special for Hopewell, the junior with all kinds of offers all over the nation. Well, there you go. Tune into VirginiaPreps.com for all your high school sports fix and us on ESPN Radio 94.1 on this abbreviated edition of the High School Sports Talk Plus video show. Give us a comment. Tell us what you want us to talk about. And tell us if you want us to come out to your place. We'll do the show from there. We accept all kinds of gifts, free swag, free food, free anything. You'll see Ed Young's pearly white teeth when he shows them, and you'll see my pretty smile.
Well, we'll take food. Let's just leave it at that. For a meal, we'll do it.
Enjoy your first football weekend of October, and we'll see you soon, folks.
Later.